They did.
All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, February 29th. It's a leap year. I'm Clayton. Fuck it. We're doing it live, and we are the hype machine. Let's get going.
I'm Pat. Guys, we are so hyped. Let's let this man scream. He's been waiting for this for a long time. Our special guest from I Scream, You Scream 4, the number 4 movies.
Number 4.
He called this. This is most anticipated movie of the year. Danny Escamilaggi is here. Welcome, Danny, to the BO Boys.
Thank you so much, Pat and Clayton. Birthday weekend's coming up as well, and I have to get lit and ready. This is the best thing ever. It's happened to me. I may also got a video game coming out this weekend, starting tomorrow. But for now, this is Dune. Let's get the spice flowing for the biggest blockbuster of the year. Let's go!
Yes, he is all man, all hype. I mean, this is it. We all been waiting for this finally after months of The Beekeeper, which we liked, but Mean Girls and Argyle.
And Madam Web, I did not see it, by the way.
Madam Web, Danny, I know you are all hyped. Just we got to. If you're gonna be that hyped, just do a little back like this, there, Danny. He's so hyped. But no, listen, do what you have to do. You've been waiting for this Dune 2 episode. But Argyle and Drive Away Dolls, we've had to just get through these last 2 months, but here we are, Dune Part 2, blockbuster of the year. It's time. Danny, tell us, why did you call this episode? You told us, BO Boys, I did Super Mario episode, and you were Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Was the next one you called, and then you're like, Dune 2, that's my movie. So just tell us, why Dune 2? Why is this so anticipated for you?
So back in 2021, before I began my podcast, Dune Part 1 was my number 1 movie of the year. I loved it so much. So then Part 2, I've been excited very much when they got this movie filming and everything. I was excited coming out last year. The strike happened. I was disappointed. Then I figured when they pushed it to March, and the best part is the Fall Guy was supposed to come on March 1st. They moved it.
How to move it.
Warner Brothers, like the NFL draft, made a right call to get the pick and got the March 1st slot. And I was like, yep, they did it. This is the Gray's birthday. Look, I may got the Batman in Creed 3, but Dune is no match for that, period.
Yes, 100%. This is the biggest blockbuster we've had, I don't know, since the summer, maybe. I mean, this is out of control. And Clayton, how hype are you for Dune 2? Did you actually see Dune 1 in the movie theater back in 2021? I mean, I know Danny's out of his mind hype, but are you that hype right now?
I mean, my hype will never compare to Danny's, so I shouldn't even try.
At our ages, it shouldn't.
No, it wouldn't be good for my heart to be that hype. But I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for this for a few reasons, because, I mean, I, too, enjoyed Dune 1, and I just think this is an old-fashioned, big, star-studded, special effects-driven film that we've been starving for. I mean, when you look at the young Hollywood that is in this, it is staggering. Everybody who's anybody.
Yep.
Anybody.
Are you anybody?
Are you? That's the question. If you're not in Dune 2, you aren't anybody.
Yeah.
So I love the Chalamet Zendaya romance that they're playing up. I mean, I think that's going to be one for the ages when it comes to the Gen Zers. So I am hyped. I'm very hyped for this movie. I mean, we have our tickets. We're going to see it. It was a must see. It's not my most anticipated, but it's up there. It definitely is up there.
Yeah. I mean, Clayton and I have tickets with a friend. We're seeing it Saturday night, not in IMAX. We're seeing it in Dolby though, which is actually kind of our preferred theater, is the Dolby Theater. We love it. We'll be sitting in the balcony. Clayton, we'll be sitting in the same spot that we all saw The Whale last year. We had to go see The Whale in Dolby, and now we're seeing Dune 2 in Dolby. So Danny, how are you seeing Dune 2. How long have you had this planned out? Tell us what is the night Danny going to see Dune 2 in theaters?
I planned this long ahead before tickets came out. I said I will go see this, not just in IMAX, but this theater in my state, which is Cinemark, has the greatest IMAX theater. So I had to go all the way. Me and my aunt planned to see this tomorrow night at IMAX. And you know when the last time I've been to that exact theater for IMAX? Name a movie that I saw in IMAX last time.
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. That's what I was saying too. Yeah. Is it Gran Turismo?
Top Gun Maverick.
Wow. This is the level of respect.
Every occasion, I would go there, which is an hour away from my local.
Yep.
Just to get there, I will always go there for every occasional hype IMAX movies like Dune. And Dune is shot entirely. This is gonna be the best.
Yeah. Wow. That is a incredible level of respect. Danny doesn't just go see movies in this theater just for the hell of it. Just, let me go check out Mean Girls in this theater. He saves it for the top level movies Top Gun Maverick was the biggest movie of that year. Dune Part 2 might end up being that this year. Dune Part 2 is going to be gigantic, and it's earned Danny going an hour out of his way. Are you seeing it late at night? Is this going to be a situation where you're driving home at 3 o'clock in the morning after seeing Dune?
No, 6:45 p.m. I'm off work, so yeah, it'll be early evening for sure.
Great. Clayton and I, we're seeing a late showing on Saturday. We're going to be jumping on the New York City subway system in the middle of the night. And who knows? A New York City subway system, we might see sandworms on there. The gnarly things we might see. But we're going to be so hyped. Bring it on. Bring it on. 3 o'clock in the morning on the subway. Bring it on. Mm-hmm. So, Clayton, you talked about the young cast. Let's zero in on the star of this movie is Timothée Chalamet.
Mm-hmm.
He had a blockbuster in Wonka. He's got now the kids love him. The young girls always loved him. I think the guys have needed to warm up to him. Obviously, I think when he wore the legendary hoodie on Saturday Night Live on a live, and we can't stress this enough, live broadcast of Saturday Night Live a few years ago supporting Legendary, I think that got a lot of guys on his side. Now he's got the kids. He's got the women. How big is Clayton? How big do you think the Wonka bump is for Dune 2? Chalamet being a Wonka-sized star now, which he wasn't when Dune 1 came out.
Yeah, I think that can't be overstated, is that the fact that he has had a hit that big and a recent hit is so great for this film. If Wonka would have come out and did middling business, if it would have done Paddington business, that would have been pretty bad. For theatrical, right? But also not great for Chalamet. And this is really, this is just one step further in his march to stardom. And it's so great that we're seeing this happen because he's doing it through, yes, Wonka is an IP, but again, and everybody says we're bashing superheroes. We do. I do.
You do the most, but it is what it is.
The facts are superhero movies did not create movie stars. They did not. They did not create lasting movie stars. They didn't.
Right.
And Chalamet was able to dodge that bullet. And the things that he got big from were, he was in Greta Gerwig movies. He was in Wonka. He's in Dune. These are things that you build a career from.
Right. So, Danny, how much is Chalamet a factor in why you're so hyped for this movie? Did you have a history with Chalamet beyond Dune 1? Are you a Wonka guy now? What is the Chalamet effect for you?
Let me start with the Dune factor. So, never seen a Chalamet until Dune 1. He surprised me. I thought, incredible. He's like the next Leonardo DiCaprio every time I look at this guy. That's how I viewed him, and he's a factor for sure. Wonka, I think, to me, I didn't bother watching it because, to me, playing Willy Wonka by Chalamet was a miscast closer to the release, and I'm being honest. It's just me. My sanity could be wrong. I will still watch it on streaming, which is on Max next week, but I'd rather see him play a dark, mean Paul Atreides.
Well, I mean that is what he's going to be playing, and he's going to be. You mentioned Leo. I love that comparison. Could this be his Titanic? Listen, I'm not saying Dune 2 is going to do Titanic numbers, biggest movie of all time. Two
course
boys. That's not happening. But in terms of, there is a romance in this movie. This is a Wonka's not going to have a romance, obviously, and the romantic movies he did that were indie movies aren't going to break through. But this is him and Zendaya, two giant stars in a romance, big screen. Could this be a big part of making him the next Leo? Is teenage girls might go see the Sandworm movie because these two hot young stars are going to be in a romance.
I mean, look at Titanic. It had a boat and it had water. This movie is sort of the opposite of it.
Yeah.
Because it's got sand.
And it's got
tons of sand. And it's got worm. And so here's the thing, is that generations will always have Titanic. Titanic is a movie that will, from generation to generation, be passed down. So they don't need another boat water movie, these young women and these young men.
Right. Young people.
They need a sand movie. And that's what this is. This is going to be the Titanic of sand. Now, is sand as popular as water? Probably not, because it's not as useful as water. Water has so many uses. But I think when we're talking Titanic, we're talking Dune 2. I think there is an equivocation that can be made. And I just think, he's at the height of his sort of pinup looks and his young Leo look. They had that same sort of skinny frame and angelic looks.
Yeah, wispy.
At this time. I mean, and Chalamet's hitting it hard with that. So I do think there's something there too. I mean, you know me, I'm big on this movie. I'm really big on this movie. Yeah. And excited just to see this weekend and is this going to do 100?
Yeah. I mean, so Zendaya is in this. And she has been in some of the biggest movies of the last 5 years. She's been in all three of the rebooted Spider-Man movies, including No Way Home, Far From Home. What was it?
No Way Home.
Homecoming. Homecoming was the first.
Homecoming was the first, but the three Spider-Man movie is
the biggest. No Way Home
is No Way Home. I mean, that was one of the biggest movies of all time, and she's basically the second lead in that. So I don't think it could be understated how big of a factor she is in her fan base. So Danny, you are one of our resident young people on this show, along with, wannabe old boys like Austin, getting out there and telling us what the word on the street is from the young people. Just how big of a factor is Zendaya for getting out the young generation to the box office? Very
big. She started very small, like every other actors and actresses do. And I don't know. I'm not a Zendaya fan, but it's great to see a star going from small to big to becoming a big fish.
Yes.
And with Chalamet, oh my God, you guys, I've been meaning to say that I think they're the greatest couples right now in dynamic duo couples wise, Titanic level. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I can't wait to see that chemistry. Remember I said that Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly was the hottest couple? Well, let's just say that's a Gen X couples. Let's separate that. Forget about all we're
That's
topping.
a couple for me, right, Danny? Not for Pat, just for me.
Also me.
Say it's just for me, Danny. Say it's just for me.
Okay. So the youngest stars, the hottest youngest stars is Zendaya and Chalamet, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the type of couple coming off of this Dune 2 that the audiences are going to want to see over and over again in more Dune movies, get them in a drama someday. The way Leo and Kate finally teamed back up for that Revolution Road. You're going to want to see Chalamet and Zendaya over and over again. But the only chance you have this weekend is going to see them in Dune 2. So that's how you're going to get your fix. Young stars. I mean, there's so many young stars in this. Austin Butler is the villain, guys.
Oh my
Elvis
God.
is the villain. Daddy, I just said that. I just said Elvis is the villain, and your hype, I could see it in your face. Your hype rose another 15 to 17%. I mean, how excited are we to see the guy who should have an Oscar. He should have won Best Actor, but it would
Yeah,
probably be better for him that he didn't because there's no
Mhm.
backlash. And you keep hearing this could be another Oscar nomination worthy role. He gets to play the villain. Clayton, you were an Elvis guy. We were rooting for Elvis to win that Oscar a year ago. How much hype does this add for you that Austin Butler is the villain?
Yeah, I mean it's huge. I mean it's huge that Elvis did well for him. I mean, because the thing is that this movie has been shot, and you just waiting to see what happens with all these stars, and the fact that Austin Butler had a huge hit with Elvis, had a great SNL hosting,
right,
and really is a guy that was able to go in glad hand during Oscar season, meet people, circulate the room. He's had one under his belt. They don't like the young men in the academy. They want the young men to work hard to get their awards. So this is just a really good step forward for him. And I think, there's a possibility this movie is going to get a lot of noms.
Yes.
Especially because, I mean, everything's sort of coming together for Dune because doesn't have to worry about the Oppenheimer steamroller.
No.
Doesn't have to worry about Barbie. So next year, it's going to own all the below the line categories. It's going to get acting nominees. It's going to get Best Director, I'm sure.
Yep.
So Austin Butler is probably going to get in there for Best Supporting in this villain role.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, remember the first Dune won 6 Oscars.
Yeah.
It won 6 Oscars.
The sweep.
Yeah.
It was the sweep. Dune sweep. Part 2 is going to sweep it again.
Yeah. I mean, you look at next weekend, Oppenheimer is the favorite to win Best Picture and all that. Oppenheimer right now is predicted to win maybe 7 Oscars if everything breaks this way, maybe 8. Even that is only 2 more than what Dune won a couple of years ago. Obviously, a lighter Oscar year, COVID year, but this is poised to be that type of critic favorite. The same way Oppenheimer was the big thinky blockbuster over the summer. That's what Dune 2 was looking to be. And, back to Austin Butler, when he played Elvis, we made a lot out of this. In that Elvis movie, he only played Fat Elvis for about 15, 20 seconds, just a shot of Fat Elvis. And I think that's important for this movie because if he had played Fat Elvis for, say, a half hour or an hour of the Elvis movie, people might look at him in this villain role and say, we already saw that. We already saw him play Fat Elvis. He's just doing that again. The fact that we never got to see Austin Butler go full Fat Elvis, I think makes this Dune part more enticing because we never got to see that. So what about you? How much is Austin Butler a factor for you, Danny?
Yeah. I love villains. Villains are my favorite things to watch. This is the biggest. I'm talking a matchup. It's like a Super Smash Brothers matchup. Let me put in that video game term real quick. Paul Atreides, Faye Rothe, biggest ladies' man matchup. You don't want to miss it. I mean, who doesn't want to miss that? Wow. It's insane.
I love, Danny, that you are basically at this point, night before the movie opens, talking about it like you're Don King hyping a boxing match. And you probably don't know who Don King is. Big Gen X icon, so that's
how do you know who he is, Pat?
Generation, because Gen X and Don King, and we were all the same generation. But he was a big boxing promoter. He used to promote, like, I don't know if you know who Mike Tyson is. He's the guy who got the face tattoo in the Hangover movies, of course. He was a boxer in a previous
That's how
life.
you know him, Pat.
Yeah,
I knew him when he was married to Robin Givens.
I watched that interview. I watched the Mike Tyson Robin Givens interview live.
On YouTube, 2 years ago.
No, I watched it live on television.
Well, other than that, Austin Butler looks like a big star. Like Zendaya, starring small to becoming a big fish. Yeah. And this is a great thing to do after Elvis. Elvis was a hit 2 years ago. And wow. Yeah, I agree. Support actor is going to be in the cards. I mean, this is like a great thing. He looks good. Man, probably the most intimidating acting character I can ever see up to this day.
Wow. I mean, that's the thing. Villain roles, in these type of movies, those do garner award attention. I mean, there's been some comparison. Is this his Joker? Is this his Heath Ledger Joker part, where the young star had a nomination before, then gets the big showy villain part in the blockbuster, gets the Oscar. That this could be that. This could be his Heath Ledger Joker.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, Joker can't be the only villain who wins Oscars. You know what I mean? I mean, he will. He will win another Oscar. He's going to win many Oscars in his future. But you got to switch it up a little bit. And I think it'd be really interesting to see this character. Now, Danny, where Florence Pugh? I mean, we could just go on and on with these stars who are in this movie. Florence Pugh. Where does she sit on your, I need to see this movie because Florence Pugh is in it? Is that something that you do? You're like, Florence Pugh, I'm there.
Not every movie, but this one, yes, Florence Pugh. I've been comfortable with her a lot. She's already a star like before. The last thing I saw was Oppenheimer. And way before then was Puss in Boots when she voiced Goldilocks. But Florence Pugh, man, she is getting there at this point. So I'm in for Florence Pugh.
Yeah, and that Oppenheimer part, it was small but mighty. It garnered a lot of attention, a lot of talk. She didn't have to be in the movie that much, but everyone knew she was in the movie. And I think that's the sign of a star, when you could just come in and really make your mark in a giant blockbuster like that. It's a shame, of course, that right now it seems like she's been sentenced to do the Thunderbolts movie. They are going into production on it.
Honestly,
Talk about that.
I'm ready. Like, at this point, the Marvel, like, I'd rather see Deadpool than just Thunderbolts. I'd rather see Blade. I'd rather see Fantastic Four. I'd rather see the World Order of Captain America. But Thunderbolts, okay, just put that in the trash. I mean, what's the point? What's the fucking point, bro?
Yeah. Wow. I love it. I love it. What is the effing point? I mean, Danny, you nailed it. And that is what Florence Pugh's agents are probably saying. I mean, I would only hope she has a strong representation, is what you just said there, and that her agents are asking Disney, Thunderbolts, what's the fucking point? What are we doing here? Let her just keep making Dune movies and go be a big star instead of being sentenced to the Thunderbolts. But yeah, I'm excited that she's in it. This really is, and I'm going to throw out another Gen X reference. This is like the Brat Pack. All the big stars of the 80s together, except with a $200 million budget and giant sandworms. That's what we have here.
Don't you mean the Frat Pack? That's your generation's movies with Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. That's yours.
I mean,
Brat Pack was mine.
If that was mine, I'd also be like 17 or something now. I mean, that's too young. It's too young. But Florence Pugh, huge star. I mean, Clayton, there can't be any more young, buzzy stars.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Wow.
Now, Anya Taylor-Joy, here's the one. Sorry, Danny, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
She had the Menu, which was a sneaky sleeper a double. I would say it wasn't necessarily a big hit, but it was a double. It did very well.
And everyone loved it. Like, that's one of those movies that even people who didn't see in the theater, everyone caught up and watched it on cable and really loved that movie.
But other than Split, she really hasn't had a big hit.
Yeah.
I mean, she's more of somebody.
And I Super Mario, $1 billion hit or not? Big hit or not?
So,
okay.
I don't count. I don't count voice acting, because at the end of the day, Danny, listen, let me speak. I think thank you, sir. I think at the end of the day, that does not do much for those actors when it comes to their live action success, right? I think that there's not really a big correlation. If you have a big cartoon voicing hit, that doesn't necessarily mean that your next live action movie is going to be a hit, right? So that's why she was in A $1 Billion Baby. That is true, Danny. That is definitely true. But you didn't see the punum. You didn't see the face. You need to be able to see the face. that's when you become a star. And I think this, I don't know how big her role is, and I don't know if it's going to be a real showy role, but the fact that she's in this is going to really, really benefit her because she needs a sort of boost, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and she's got Furiosa coming out in May.
There we
So
go.
this would be an incredible one. That's a thing about this young cast is they're either all coming off of a big hit before this, like Chalamet, like Zendaya, they've had hits, or Austin Butler with Elvis, or someone like Anya Taylor-Joy could have this plus a Furiosa back to back. And then the end of the summer, we're like, man, we've got 4 or 5 new giant movie stars.
And Austin Butler's going to have Bike Riders at some point
And
coming up, and Zendaya's going to have Challengers.
And Challengers.
Yes.
That is right.
Another big one.
Yeah.
Are you excited for that, Danny? I'm always so curious.
No,
not as much.
The
Okay.
sexism is not my thing, but I think this might be an Oscar worthy. Who knows?
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah. But I mean, this young cast, this is the year when we're finally maybe going to have some brand new, fully cemented movie stars. We talked a little bit about it. Danny mentioned the critic score. I'm looking, it's at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And we're not critics,
Huh.
And critics aren't everything,
Huh.
But I do think to get this to that next level where it goes beyond just the dudes, just the sci-fi fans, just the action people, but to get like full-on couples and older people, I think it was really important that this movie is getting the critical acclaim that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well deserved.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Villeneuve has had, Arrival was a pretty big hit for what it was, like a sci-fi. I mean, sci-fi. He usually deals in sci-fi. Blade Runner, the sequel, was, I think, a misstep just because the honest truth is nobody really gave too big of a shit about Blade Runner, really.
Right.
I mean, it was a cult movie that. What makes it? Is there robots or not human? I mean, like, are they robots or not robots? That's a question. Whatever. But I think it never was going to have the sort of commercial appeal that something like Dune has. And we got to give Villeneuve, I mean, we don't know how big this is going to be, but we think it's going to be really big. And that's huge because they tried to make Dune several times. The David Lynch Dune that came out in the 80s was a flop, a famous flop, and a famous failure.
Yes.
Yep. And so I think that the fact that the first movie did what it did, and this movie is poised to do what it's about to do, is staggering when you think about it. Like, just as an achievement.
Right. I mean, this puts him, and it's not putting him in that level, but it starts to move Villeneuve into, can he be in that Tarantino, Nolan, Greta Gerwig, movie star director level, where his name is the equivalent of having a movie star above the title. And obviously Dune's a big IP, but I do think you had Arrival, like you said. Dune 1's a hit. This could be a giant hit. It really starts to make him, okay, whatever he directs next, he's the selling point of it.
Well, he also did Prisoners, right? Didn't he do Prisoners?
Yeah, he did.
And that was a big hit as well.
It was a hit, but I would say
Not
Arrival,
a big, yeah.
It was successful for sure.
Successful, yeah. Big hit for what it was.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk sandworms, because that is, I would say, the enduring image of the Dune universe and these Dune movies, and we got a glimpse of them. They were in the first one, but everything I'm hearing is sandworms really get to shine in Dune Part 2. They're the creature, and I'm going to throw it out there. We have no Jurassic Park movie this summer. Can sandworms graduate to being the new dinosaurs, or at least the dinosaurs of this summer? How big could these sandworms be as a draw? Can they be dinosaur level, or at least can they be Kong type draws? I mean, Danny, how big of a sandworm guy are you?
Well, if it was a MonsterVerse sandworms, I'm all in. But hey, Dune sandworms, I'm also into. Yeah, they could be the next dinosaur thing, just
Wow.
as a IP to Dune, nowhere near else. I mean, who could do sandworms than Dune does, really?
Right. Well, no one's tried, right, Clayton? Has there been sandworms in? I mean, I guess they're the Beetlejuice movie, right?
I mean, famously is the
Oh,
reason I left the
Beetlejuice.
theater. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Hilarious.
okay. Let's talk about that. I didn't even put that together. I mean, Clayton, you did tell the story about how when you were a child, you and your babysitter went out for an outing, see Beetlejuice. You got too scared. You had to leave, and it was because of the sandworm. Is
It
that
was
what
the
got
first
you?
scene, yeah, when the sandworm shows up.
How
Okay.
hideous is it? How hideous for that kind of sandworm.
Have you not seen the original
No,
Beetlejuice?
no, I'm going to before the second one comes out, but
Okay.
how ugly or how hideous is it before I had to like
It's uncanny. The thing about it is, it was sort of a stop animation, so it was uncanny. The uncanny valley aspect of it, I think, was what really got to me. And obviously, I told the story on a special, on a
Web
after
exclusive.
BO, a web
Yep.
exclusive after BO, and my babysitter looked at me like, "You're not a man,"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
It was devastating. It's still devastating to this day. And,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I mean, sandworms, could they be the next dinosaurs? I don't think so, because dinosaurs don't make little boys leave theaters and disappoint the babysitters that they're in love with. They don't.
Right,
Sandworms
right.
do. So I don't think there's
Yeah.
going to be that sort of attraction to sandworms the way there is to dinosaurs.
So we're seeing this movie Saturday night. Do you feel like it's a guarantee you'll be able to get through all of Dune 2? Now
No
that
guarantee.
is it wow.
No guarantee.
wow, come on.
Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna feel what that babysitter felt, which was just abject disgust and disappointment.
Dude, at this point, I mean, that's what you feel all the time. I
True,
mean, you're already
true.
at that point. She had
Right.
not experienced that with me yet.
Right, right. Okay. I mean, I didn't even factor this in that Clayton might have to leave early because he's scared of the sandworms, but it's definitely a factor.
They
We'll
don't all
report
look
back.
ugly or scary as like, other things scary, but I'm
Yeah.
sure they don't even have eyes, so they just like have mouth. That's it. I mean, okay. I
That's
can't
true.
convince you otherwise, Clayton, but you know what? It's up to your
That's
Thank
true.
you. It's my heart.
These are sandworms that don't have an eye, so that could be better for you, Clayton, because like the sandworm's not gonna be able to stare into your soul the way the Beetlejuice sandworm did.
Listen, it is so up in the air right now.
Yeah. Well, do you think it'll help prepare you if ahead of time you were to get one of the Dune 2 collector item sandworm popcorn buckets?
Oh yeah.
Will that help you if we walk into that theater with a sandworm popcorn bucket? Or do you think that might even make you run out of the theater before the movie even starts?
Yeah, I've not seen one of those in real life, so who knows how I'll react when I see it.
Yeah. What about you, Danny? What is your interest level in getting these collector item sandworm popcorn buckets? Could you buy these at the theater, or these are only like you have to
I got
get
to
'em
call
via the
I
mail?
got to call my theater. But other than that, despite controversy on that, I want one. I want to keep one as a memento,
Yep.
I think it's to be something. But other than that, yeah, I would like to have one as
Yeah.
like experience.
I'm gonna say right now, if we go to the theater on Saturday, Clayton, and the theater is selling them, I will buy the Dune 2 collector item sandworm popcorn bucket, and I will bring it home and I will show my wife, this is who you married, this is what I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's no going back now. There's no going
No.
back.
No.
That's what you say to her.
Yes. I'll remind her what the judge said, which is there's no going back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think these popcorn buckets will help the opening weekend? They did the parody skit on SNL
Yeah, I was gonna
a couple
say.
of weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, do you think that raised awareness of this movie?
Oh, it sure did. It sure did with this kind of promotion. I mean, Warner Brothers and Legendary hit it out of the park with these marketing and cast promotional and interviews, which is the number one thing you got to do when you go out and promote your movies. The young stars did most of the work, then like Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård, the Gen X stars. But the young stars went out and just promote all over. Like I see them all over the internet. This is
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, Josh Brolin wrote some sort of poem that everybody's
Oh, yeah.
talking about. I mean, we're sleeping on the fact that Javier Bardem is in this.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin is in this.
Yeah.
Two actors who've had many iconic roles.
Yeah.
I just rewatched No Country for Old Men last night. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
of course, those two are spectacular in it. And then you've got Dave Bautista,
Yeah.
a guy that is, on his way up. I mean, that's the thing. Bautista could get his Oscar nom for this movie. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of doubt it, but I like to see more in the movie than the first one.
Yes. Yes. It feels like this is going to be the Austin Butler supporting actor show. But Batista is always a value add. People love him. Someone we didn't mention that has been getting a lot of press is Rebecca Ferguson is in this movie again. And, she did an interview where she talked about a male co-star that was a real jerk to her on set, and she had to tell him off. And now there's a whole mystery of people trying to figure out who she was talking about. The Rock today basically had to come out and say it wasn't him and basically challenged to beat up whoever the actor turned out to be. Hugh Grant, I think, is the leading candidate from Florence Foster Jenkins. That a lot of people
Gyllenhaal. It's Gyllenhaal and him are neck and
neck. Yes, yeah, they're neck and neck. And now The Rock's out there saying he's going to break a neck. So great. I mean, horrible that she had to go through that, but great job on Rebecca Ferguson for getting a lot of buzz during the press tour for Dune.
Yeah, parlaying your trauma into good press.
Yeah. So it's all clicking. So guys, I think we should give our prediction for how high this could go.
Yeah.
The first one opened to what, 41 million back in fall of 2021. So the question is just how big the jump is going to be. Is this, it's going to be a breakout sequel, as Scott Mendelson likes to call these things. Is it going to be a breakout sequel like going from Austin Powers 1 to Austin Powers 2, where it's doing like 8 times the opening? Probably not, just because 40 million was a pretty good opening.
Yeah.
But I mean, could it do double? Could it do in the 80s? Could it do more than what Oppenheimer opened to? I think I'm going to throw out an over-under of 66 million.
Okay, well, so here, just to give a little context. So 65 is what Warner Brothers is projecting.
Okay.
They usually go low, so that other people can go high.
Yeah.
And right now, Box Office Pro is saying anywhere from 71 to 86. Now,
so that's a low over-under then to even.
Yeah, because my thought was, Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
What did Oppenheimer open to?
I think 82. I'm looking that up.
81.
Right now. 81. Okay. So that feels like a solid over-under mark to go with. Because if it goes over that, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. So, Pat, do you want to go out on a limb?
Yeah.
And say over-under the Oppenheimer opening weekend?
I would say over. I think I'm going to just go over. I won't say my number yet, but I say over.
Okay. What are you saying, Danny Eskimology of I Screen, You Scream for number 4 movies?
Yeah.
Over.
I'm
on the same boat as Pat.
Are you joining us on Team Over?
Come on. I'm not afraid of taking these. If I was gambling, yeah, sure, but I'm overing. Yeah, I'm going on the side of overing.
Over Oppenheimer. Clayton, are you over or under Oppenheimer?
I'm over.
All right, guys. I'm going to throw out then a new over under 100 million. Could this hit triple digits? Danny, I'm going to let you go first. You're the most hype here. Is Dune going to do over $100 million 3-day weekend?
Not too much, but by 1 digit. Over 100.
Oh,
101.
So you're going 101.
Yes.
Clayton, are you as hype as Danny? Could Dune do 100 million? Can it do it?
Okay. Could it do it?
Well, will
a
it?
Different question then.
Yeah.
Will it?
Because it definitely could. I think it's in the realm of possibility for sure. Will it do it?
Okay, so just to clarify, Oppenheimer opened to 82. Okay, so but I think we're both over 80.
Yeah,
we're all over 82.
Yeah.
I am gonna say no, not
Okay.
over 100. Not
Okay.
over 100.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the 90s on this one. I think it goes over 90. I think 93 to 94 feels right. But my God, I think that I would not be shocked to wake up on Monday morning and this thing did 111 million. Like I wouldn't be shocked. It's all the stars are all aligning for this movie.
So, Danny, you said 101. That is what you're saying.
My solid prediction.
Okay. Pat, what is your number?
94 million.
94 million.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one who's a little bit conservative here. Even though I'm very hyped on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a number very close to my heart. I'm going to go with 89.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. Big Taylor Swift fan, a Swiftie.
No, it has nothing to do with
Can
that.
Can I mention real quick? I will say Dune for the next few weeks is an event.
It's an event.
Yeah.
It is the
as
event.
opposed to Taylor Swift's event.
Thank you, Danny. Now, here's what I'll say too about and 89. Just to let you know, has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. That is a personal number for myself.
Okay,
but I think that even if this doesn't do in the 80s, even if it opens in the 70s, this thing is gonna have legs. I think that's the thing. Is like a big opening weekend is going to be huge for this. It's great news for us. It's great news for theatrical in general. But I want people to not freak out if this movie makes 75, 76, something like that. Because it's still going to be over the Warner Brothers estimates. It's going to be way, way over what the first one did. I know it was a different time and things were tenuous then. I do think that let's not say the sky is falling when it's not, if this doesn't go over crazy, overboard.
And we'll be here to of course calm the masses. We're
Avatar, like Avatar that time. So
exactly,
it'll be the same situation.
Yes, 100%. This is going to be that. This movie is going to play like gangbusters for the next 2 months. It's got, there's big kids movies opening in March. There's Kung Fu Panda 4. There's a Ghostbusters movie. But in terms of just teens, 20-something-year-olds, 30, adults, older folks, this is going to be the movie of choice for the next 2 months, basically. So it's gonna play.
So you mentioned Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah.
And I think since we have Danny, a youngin', part of our young generation coming up, I'd like to read an email really quick that touches on both Dune Part 2 and Kung Fu Panda. Can I?
Can you finish? Yeah, you can finish the email.
So what people at my school are looking forward to in March. Did you see this email, Pat?
You might be catching me fresh, so go for it.
It's from our possible opening act for our live show.
Great.
Javier.
Okay. Yes.
Wannabe oh boy, Javier, said, okay, he thanked us for the kind words. I mean, you're awesome, so there's not enough kind words to say about you. Now, so this is what he did. He goes to Wake Forest, and he went around and had people fill out a survey as to what their most anticipated movie for the coming month is. So Dune Part 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and Godzilla Collab Kong, The New Empire. Put a check mark under the ones you're most excited to see. The results were very interesting, as Kung Fu Panda 4 easily had the most check marks, with Dune having the second most. Ghostbusters and Godzilla tied. And so here's the thought. Now, this is great for Dune 2.
Yep.
But the other thing about Kung Fu Panda is he's seeing this sort of Rise of Gru situation. Puss in Boots, Minions. This sort of, these young people grew up with these movies. And now they're coming of age. They're in university. They are getting educated. they are, the real world is beckoning, and they're sort of saying, hey, maybe this Kung Fu Panda will be a little bit of a respite, an
Right.
oasis from the possible future that I'm facing.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny, so I wanted to ask you, because we see you're hyped for Dune 2. What is your hype for Kung Fu Panda 4? Is this a generational franchise for you?
It's not. I love Shrek, but yes, it's a very generational franchise for Dreamers for years. So I think this is not a big deal going against Dune because, you know, Dune is not for everyone. So when parents don't want to take their kids to see giant sandworms and like, you know, material for like PG-13, they have a choice to see Kung Fu Panda with their kids. And I think this will blend well for like a demo age. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a big one next month.
So you don't think it's a Gentle Munyon situation?
I don't. If it was Shrek 5, yes. If it was, no, not for Kung Fu Panda, but I think it will just do pretty good considering it's a kids movie. You know, rats eat their cheese. They never had a cheese since Migration, so let there be new cheese.
Yes.
I mean, that's very true. And I just want to say really quick, I love this idea of surveying your school each month. Please continue to do this and send this to us. This is amazing boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And for all of our other wanna-be-o boys, wanna-be-o girls, wanna-be-o people who are at university or at high school or middle school, wherever you go, wherever you congregate, create these surveys, different states, overseas, whatever you want to do. Let us know. This is awesome. Feet on the ground, boots on the ground, because we can't go to all the universities.
Yeah.
You know us. They don't book us in colleges anymore. They'd have to caution tape.
There's not enough caution tape.
There's not enough caution tape for us. So we need this boots on the ground from this younger generation. I am loving this. Another perfect email.
Yeah. So listen, normally we do our top 5 predictions, but I feel like it's just so meaningless to just predict what is Madam Web's third weekend drop going to be.
I will say,
who cares?
Briefly, what do you think The Chosen does? Where do you think The Chosen, the new episodes of The Chosen, which are also coming out, where do they go in the top 5? That's the question. So it's 7 and 8, episodes 7 and 8. Do you think this could topple Bob Marley?
No. I mean, those movies are going to do what, a $3.5 million opening weekend.
Okay.
Bob Marley did 13 last weekend, so that'll do like 7 or 8 this weekend. Demon Slayer is probably going to do like 5 or 6. Ordinary Angels is going to do like 3 probably. So I don't think that maybe it comes in. We'll probably beat out Madam Web, but I don't think that the new batch of Chosen episodes really factors in anywhere higher than like 5, maybe.
Danny, is Jesus a big thing for you? Big IP?
IP to everyone, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think really who cares in terms of what Madam Web does this weekend? It's gonna bomb.
Who gives an ass? Who
gives a fuck? That's for sure.
Wow. There we go.
Exactly.
I was tipping toeing around it, and Danny just burst through the door.
You gotta let it out sometimes. You know, I do the same thing on my show.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, before we go, let's talk about your show. What other movies? Because on your show, you talk about the things you're excited for, and you dig deep when a movie comes out that you're excited about. Has Dune 2 anything in the next couple of months that you're excited about? Godzilla X Kong, the collab, anything, Ghostbusters, anything that you are excited about beyond Dune 2? Fall Guy, does that mean anything to you? What are you excited about?
Oh, yeah. So Godzilla X Kong, that's my second anticipated. Ghostbusters, all they're going to be next month. Nothing in April. Fall Guy, totally. David Leitch had a blast with Bullet Train. I'm a fan. I'm actually excited. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Ferocia, June, man. All I can say is I know 2024 is light, but I gotta make the best out of it as my hype as much as I can. So I'm bringing the heat as much as I can to season 3 of my podcast.
I love
I'm
it.
looking
I love
forward.
it. And I love that your podcast, you don't do anything that you're not excited about. So there's no episodes where it's like, Danny's just going through the motions. He's got to talk about Madam Web. It's like you may end up watching something that you don't end up liking, but you always go into
I did not
with
see
hype.
Madam Web. Thank God. Thank
Wow.
God. Thank
You're
God.
no
I was
shell.
I
You're
was
no
gonna
shell.
I was gonna kick off my season 3 with that movie when I heard how shitty this movie was, and I decided, nope, I'm skipping that. Fuck it. But I did see a Fathom event last week.
What'd
Do
you
you guys
say?
want to guess? Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
You could
Wow.
have given me 1,000 years, Danny,
Well,
and
as
I
a
never
fan,
would have guessed.
as a fan, I wish it would play the entire weekend because in my mind, I think it would be number 1. But no, Square Enix, which is the developer of the franchise, decided to play it for 2 days, which is on Wednesday and Thursday in different like sounds of audio English and sub Japanese. But the reason they put this out is to promote their upcoming Final Fantasy game. Releases tomorrow. When the
Very
episode
interesting.
drops.
Very interesting. This, you know what? That's what movie theaters got to do. Is you got to get product in there. Hollywood's not making enough movies, so get a Final Fantasy movie in there and animated to promote the video games. Get these chosen episodes out there because we're not getting enough Dune Part 2s. Thank God we're getting this one.
I did see the first part 1 of Dune a few weeks ago, also in IMAX.
Okay, an IMAX.
So,
Love it.
had to.
Love it.
Now, quickly, Danny, before we leave, because you're the resident gamer, you're the guy who talks to us about games.
Mhm.
Borderlands.
Yes.
The Borderlands trailer, obviously biting off Guardians. It's a very Guardians aping trailer. Now, Borderlands as a franchise sold 75 million games. It's huge. What is your take on Borderlands as an IP? Do you think this could be a successful franchise for video game adaptations?
Yes. I'm not a Borderlands fan, but I'm planning to play one of them later this year before the movie comes out. I could see it. I have a friend who's a Borderlands fan. He's very hype on it. Yeah, this is a Guardians-like movie, and the question is, Eli Roth is the director of this movie. Does he hit it out of the park for the fans? Because he's all about horror, and I'm surprised he signed up to do this movie, directing it. So I am not super, but I'm like middling right here until like, what do people say? What do fans say? But other than that, I can see the stars. Look, Kevin Hart, he's a streamo guy right now, but I don't think his star is completely dead. I think, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis is interesting. Jack Black, yes, he's gonna be a big factor. Ariana, what's her name? Ariana Greenblatt.
Ariana Greenblatt from Barbie. Yep.
She's not gonna have a $1 billion movie this time, but she's gonna be another star. I feel like coming off from Barbie, coming off from Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Blanchett, yeah, Oscar worthy, didn't win it. You know, I think that idea for this trailer, people don't understand that it's just a trailer, and then when the movie gets the word comes out, people might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be worth a good shot, and it comes out after Deadpool, so I think it's not going to be damaging either. So, going to Borderlands, a video game movie like that, I think this is what we need and what Hollywood needs for like video game type superhero comic book stuff. You know?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Listen, we say it all the time. Video games are the new IP that's taken over, and I agree. I think Borderlands is gonna be a big movie. I am looking forward to that.
The budget's very easy too. It's very fair. How much did it cost exactly? 70-something million.
Oh, I mean, if it's that, it's gonna be very profitable.
Oh, the budget's not out yet. Okay, yeah. I think it's like under 100 million. I feel like for that budget, I think that'd be relatively good.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. So the other thing I'm excited about, I'm encouraging everyone, of course, I always do. WannaBO senior intern Christopher kills it running our social medias at the BO Boys Pod on Twitter X, on TikTok, and all that. And he's going to be dropping with this episode a poster, a fully designed by Danny poster, dropping with this episode that you got to see to believe. And it is the B.O. Boys family, the extended B.O. Boys universe in the poster for Dune 2. Danny, just, by the time people see this episode, the poster will be live on our social media. So just quickly, what hit you? What inspired you to take the B.O. Boys family? I mean, Kirk Minahan's on there, Jack, Christopher, Bread of the New Flesh, David Thompson,
Jeff Bach,
Scott Mendelson, the Godfather himself, the legend, the tribal chief, Scott Mendelson is on there. Yourself, throw ones up for Scott Mendelson. How did the inspiration hit you to create what I think is going to be an iconic custom poster that you made?
You gotta just make awareness to get the hype going. So I did the same thing with Five Nights at Freddy's, and that was just the beginning. Oh, and I send you a few Photoshops in 2022 with the Doctor Strange and Top Gun, Paramount, the Paramount movies striking back with the smiles on the faces on the jackass.
Yeah,
and I mean, I love making Photoshops because not only they're funny, but they're just creative. I know it could probably offend some of you guys or the wannabe boys, girls, and people that, don't view them as much or are the B.O. Boy family. I mean, hey, this is just for fun and games. I mean, you got to get the promotion going. So that's what inspired me to make this Photoshop. Yeah. If I could quickly elaborate whose face is on. Yeah. So I got myself as Paul, wannabe boy Jack as Channy, wannabe boy Christopher as Lay Jessica, Scott Mendelson as Baron, Kirk Minahan as Feyrauthe, Clayton as Beast Raban, Brett Arnold as one of the Fremen. I don't know how to pronounce the name. David Thompson as Gurney, Jeff Bach as Princess Orin, and Pat, the one and only Stogar.
It's incredible casting. So again, go to @theboboyspod, social medias, Twitter X, and it'll be there. I mean, it's going to be circulating all over the internet when it drops. So
you won't be able to avoid it at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Of course, we're on YouTube, so you can watch this episode. You can watch clips. You can watch web exclusives, all on the YouTube channel, which is really taken off now. It is growing. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel while you still can. You
can see the hoodie I'm wearing to promote this episode and going out to see the movie.
Yes, yes. This entire time, if you're only listening, you're only getting half the story. You have to go to the YouTube channel to see this Dune hoodie and the shirt underneath it that he's holding up. This is huge. So go watch the B.O. Boys on our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Of course, read the Substack. Wanna B.O. Junior Intern Jack has brought back the Substack, 2 to 3 articles a week. He's got a full preview of Dune 2. His write-up on it is incredible. So go there. And 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Of course, listen to I Screen, You Scream 4, number 4 movies. Give that 5 stars if you haven't already. Big episodes, as you heard, coming up in the next couple of months. Danny's finally got some movies that he's excited about. And guys, I think we
can promote this real quick. You're available. Okay, so why my Dune episode is gonna be big?
Yeah,
I'm not only doing it to kick off my season, but I'm having. Can I say it, guys? If one of you guys.
I'm definitely in. Clayton, we have to talk about the date, but I'm guaranteed. I'm a slam doink.
So guys, I'm kicking off the season 3 of my podcast. I Screened, You Scream 4, number 4. Yeah. 4 movies with the Dune episode with Pat, unknown about Clayton yet, but we're not gonna I'm not gonna be converting them to critics, But we're gonna talk about the box office breakdown. So that's another big one that. Yep. I think it's worth checking out if you love the B.O. Boys and help my podcast just kick off my season. The Hypest podcast is where it's at for I Screen, You Scream 4, number 4.
4.
You got to subscribe to the podcast, whatever you're listening on. Apple's the best place to listen to. I do have a YouTube channel, and I'll keep providing this YouTube channel here and then. And, of course, it'll be in video formatted for the viewing. And one more thing. Did we do our top fives quickly?
Well, I think we said the top fives at this point don't matter.
Don't
It's
matter.
just
Okay.
it's just the Dune prediction we gave.
Okay, I have my
Nothing else
prediction
matters.
ready, but you know what? Yeah, I think I know how it goes anyways.
Yeah, it's all meaningless after Dune 2 right
So,
now.
Danny, then I'm going to make a huge announcement. I mean, I'm in. I mean, there's no question mark over my head at this point. I'm in. Of
Yeah,
course,
he's
I'm in.
He's in.
All right.
All right. So
Well-
there we go. Huge. All right, guys. There's nothing else to say. Nothing.
There can't be. There
No,
can't
it
be.
can't be. Can't be.
Except for until next time.
Well,
smell
you
at the box office.
office.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.